Hey, my fellow YouTubers. So I was just sitting here in bed thinking about the smear campaign and about how there's three parties. So it's a triangle. So if you're someone watching this channel, you're most likely an empath, a scapegoat, or a chosen one. And so you would not consider willfully creating a lie to spread about anyone, because it's insidious, it's vindictive, it's malevolent, it's just everything that, a God-fearing person that has a genuinely good heart and love for strangers would not want to get messed up with. But I have done one thing repetitively throughout my life, and that is state a truth to a flying monkey. Like, I will state an opinion about this toxic person that I know this flying monkey can bounce back and forth between me and the narcissist. And I might be upset at this toxic person for something they've done toxic, willfully designed to hurt me. And so I might say a negative opinion about the toxic person to the flying monkey, knowing full well that within probably 24 hours, probably more like 12 or even less, that flying monkey is going to share what I said about the toxic person. So for instance, I might be upset with how this cousin of mine never is genuinely concerned about you. So I can remember all the way back in childhood, if we're being chased by some grown-up that we just threw tennis balls at while he was driving down the Ventura Freeway at like 80 miles an hour, and we threw tennis balls from the overpass and they hit his car, probably made a loud noise, probably scared the hell out of him. He flips a U-turn, comes back and starts chasing us. Now, if I fell, I knew from experience this guy would not stop and pick me up so that we could keep running away together. You were on your own. As an adult, we went out to a boxing match. Actually, it was WWA back when that was kind of brand new. Or not WWA, the Ultimate Fighting. And so he rented a bus. He had all these people. He had like 2 huge ice chests filled of iced beer. There was a bong being passed around on the bus. And so that's the way it was all night. And then at the end of the night, everyone goes their separate ways. And he kind of like, I'm the last guy there, and he's kind of like, aren't you going to go home? And I'm like, I don't know if I should drive. I'm really inebriated. And he's like, come on, everyone else, was fine. You're fine. Come on. I got things I got to do early in the morning. All right, I guess. Okay. So I drive totally knowing that I shouldn't be driving. And I stop into a Jack in the Box that's open all night. It's like 3:30 in the morning. And I get like the 2 tacos for $1. I get some jalapeno poppers. And I just park right there in the parking lot and eat the food and then pass out. I don't wake up until like 5:30 in the morning windows open, keys in the ignition, radio playing. I'm totally out of it, but I'm just happy that no cop pulled up behind me in the parking lot because that's a drunk driving. And I'm happy that I didn't just get the food and try to make the drive home because that's like a 45-minute drive back to where I lived and I shouldn't have been driving. So I'm just happy. But, later the day and that day and the next day and the day after that, I started thinking about how this cousin, if I did get in a car accident where I lost the use of my legs, if I got a drunk driving, I had young kids at the time, I needed to go to my job, I needed to taxi my kids all around town. If I lost my license due to a driving under the influence, he wouldn't care either way, whether I lost the use of my legs, whether I got a DUI and I can't continue anything productive. My life, my whole life would just come to a screeching halt. This guy just doesn't care. So I had a second cousin that kept coming to me, trying to be the flying monkey and trying to get me to say something to run back to that toxic cousin of mine. And he kept just insisting that I tell him some piece of information why I'm not returning his phone calls anymore, why I'm not hanging out with him anymore. So I finally just told him the truth, knowing full well that night when this flying monkey got home, he was going to call or text and tell him what I said. So I said that the truth. I'm nervous around this cousin. He's not someone that has my back. And he likes to engage in very, very risky, dangerous behavior that could land you in jail. And I've got, a career. I'm a single parent. I love being a single parent. I've got these kids to taxi all around town. I got this very serious, stressful career that requires 40 plus hours of work each week. And I don't want to hang out with someone that wants to encourage drunk driving, wants to encourage throwing rocks at moving cars. I don't want to be out with someone that's encouraging me to have a one night stand with, a promiscuous lady. He's not good for me. And he, all I said is he doesn't care if something bad happens. He'll be rolling on down the road while you're in handcuffs. But in actuality, I know better. I know he wanted bad things to happen to me. His best friend, he was following him on a motorcycle. He raced through a light because it turned yellow, and he sped up and floored it to make it through that light, knowing full well that his best friend in the world, that had been his best friend since childhood, was like 50 or 60 yards behind him. And there was no way that he was going to be able to make it, but he knew it would put pressure on him to try to make it. So he guns it through this red light. And so this guy tries to keep up with him and ends up getting in a motorcycle accident that hospitalized him. And he now has such a jacked up ankle with all kinds of metal and pins in it that will never walk without a limp again. He can never run. He is greatly hampered. He does not look normal anymore walking down the street, and he never will again. And this guy forgave him. Okay, yeah, he's a grown man. He could have decided to stop, but he puts people, his friends, in these situations regularly. So, okay, so where was I? We have the triangle, so you as an empath would not be spreading falsehoods in order to control how other people see this person that you're secretly in competition with, that you're secretly threatened with, that you secretly admire. Okay, but how about Okay, so you got the flying monkeys. So, the bad thing about the flying monkeys, the really, really bad thing, is because a lot of times these are people that you've known your whole life. And that right away, as soon as one of the kind of status, high ranking, toxic people in the family. Now, mind you, most of the people in this family know on some level that this toxic person is full of ish. They know he's just all hot air. He's just full of himself, full of flattery and charm, and has an overly high opinion of himself. Everyone kind of knows this on some level, but at the same time, he's a charming person. He's fun to hang out with. He has parties at his house all the time, so on and so forth. So when they say something bad about you or an empath, they are willing to believe it primarily out of team membership, and not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting the toxic, abusive behavior to be directed at them, to stay in good stead with the leaders of the toxic family cult and the ones that you don't want to be on the wrong side of. But at the same time, they're going along with this false narrative. So most of the time, they'll have some inkling to know that this is not all true. Probably most of it is untrue. There's always a thread of truth in all the lies they tell. But the flying monkeys are willing to take the smear campaign, the untruths, hook, line, and sinker. One, to stay in good stead with the toxic person causing the smear campaign, and they don't want to really know what the truth is. Because if they really know what the truth is, they might be tempted to stand up for that smeared person. They might think about standing up and confronting the toxic person and saying, you made up all these lies about this person. This is my lifelong cousin that I've been friends with forever. So they just would rather not know the truth and would rather believe the untruths so that they can stay on the right side of the toxicity and not have it projected in towards them. So now the one causing the smear campaign, obviously they know that they're creating lies about you because they can't control you. And if you're calling them out on anything, presenting some reality to them, some truth to them that they don't want to see, in their opinion, in their mind, you're hurting them on purpose. You're doing a downright devilish deed against them. That means you're not a loyal team member. And so all bets are off. There's no slap boxing with mittens on. There's either you're fully on board, everything's black and white with narcissists. You're either fully on board with my team or you're completely my enemy and you're completely against me. So if you cause any narcissistic injury, you now are an enemy that deserves anything they can unload on you because you're not on their team. You're either 100% on or you're 100% off. And when you're 100% off, even if the smallest infraction you committed, they will open full bore cannons and blow you up out of the water because you're not on the team 100%. And there is no 99%, no 97%. So they know what they're doing, and it's a fun game. They think you would be doing it too if you had the upper hand. They think everyone's like them. Everyone is out to win. And the way you win is by getting a team. And then anyone that does not bow down to you and worship your leadership, then you attack and you set all of your team members against that person. And it's just keeps going day in, day out. And it's a big fun game. And it's your fault because you don't have the upper hand. That's your fault. They got the upper hand. So they deserve a pat on the back. And because you don't have the upper hand, you deserve a knife in the back. And this is just the game. It's just the rules of the game. You know, like if you play Monopoly and you force someone to sell their houses and hotels, usually don't feel really bad about it. It's just a game. You're just playing to win. They would have done the same thing if they had had the chance. So just celebrate your victories and keep going. That's the way they view it. It's just a simple board game. Don't get offended that I'm ruining your good name. I'm ruining your reputation amongst all of your friends, all of your family members, everyone in the whole town, of Los Angeles, is going to be turned against you after the 5th decade of me doing this and speaking to anyone, and they don't see any wrong in it. They're just doing what circumstances allow them to do. And if you had the circumstances in your favor, you would do the same thing. So they don't really see, good or bad. They see it as just winning and losing. And you should do whatever you can to be the one winning. Doesn't matter if it's your only sibling and you've been putting this on them 35 years. It's all good as long as I'm winning. So the sad part, once again, is the flying monkeys believing the lie. And whether the flying monkey is someone that's a family member that's known you 30, 40, 50 years, or whether they're just an acquaintance you see once a week or something. Yet, either way, they are believing the lie, knowing that it's just based on hearsay, it's just based on one person saying this, it's just based on gossip, it's just based on happenstance, almost nothing. And yet they're willing to believe you and treat you as if it's real. We've all been in the situation where we've had someone come and share some gossip with someone else, with us, about someone else that we don't really know that well. And inadvertently, it might change how we act towards that person. But it's inadvertently, It's not purposefully, this person's a scumbag. I'm going to totally turn my back on this person when they walk close by. It's more like, gosh, what this person told me about this other person's terrible. I wonder if it's true, and you just kind of act just a little bit different only because you're not sure if what you heard is true. But you have some intuition, and so you just keep your eyes and your ears open. You act as nice as you can, but you're a little bit withdrawn out of safety, but you still just want to see what time reveals. You want to sit back and just wait patiently and see what unfolds. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Because for the triangle to really work the way the narcissist, toxic person wants it to work, is these flying monkeys are going to be giving you sneers. They're going to be turning their back on you as soon as you start to talk. They're going to be saying, insinuating that you did what was said that you did, and you're like, what are they even talking about? I'm not sure, but I just know that they feel very self-righteous and very critical against me for something. I have no idea why. Thanksgiving night, I went to a party I was invited to, and there was this really, really nice couple that I really, really liked and enjoyed talking to, my son and myself, and we watched a lot of football together. We really hit it off. And then dinner is served, and we end up sitting at separate ends of the table. And then dinner's over, and we're all standing up, starting to say our goodbyes. This person literally looked like he had the fear of God in his face when he came near me. He wouldn't look me in the eye, he wouldn't shake my hand, he wouldn't say goodbye to me. Just literally looked like he had been told that I was a serial killer or something like that. And him and his wife squeezed by me without saying goodbye and left. And they said goodbye to everyone else. So, once you've been through enough of these, you realize he was told something horrendous about me, and I know who the extremely insecure person in the group is. And so I know I was smeared, you know? And it's just not any big deal. It's just amazing that people are really this jacked up, you know? They would go through so much effort just to, I'm probably never going to see this guy again. To go through spreading a smear campaign with this one person and his wife when I'm probably never going to see them again is like really a sad use of time, a waste of time. And this person says he believes in Jesus, and he's going this far out of his way to spread a smear campaign. But, it just is what it is. People are going to be people. Human nature has been the same since Adam and Eve. And there you have it. So it's kind of interesting, though, the three different dynamics of a smear campaign. And the best thing, if you're getting the smear campaign spread about you, is just to not be offended. But if it's family and it's so bad and it's going on decades, you might just want to leave the town, because once again, it's all about winning, and they're gonna win no matter what. They're gonna make sure that they win this little game of one-upsmanship, and that I get people to see me in a more positive light. I get people to see you in a negative light. I steal from you. I badmouth you. Whatever. After, when it's your only sibling or something like that, and it's been going on for 35, 40 years, you might just not only need to go no contact, you might need to move. Anyways, I hope someone found some value in this. God bless.